So I am the owner of Brisbane Family Law Centre. So it does what it says on the tin. We're a boutique family law practice, surprisingly, here in Brisbane. We have a team of about 12 in the law firm, and I've had the practice for 12 years. One of my favourite features with Smokeball is the ability to have my emails automatically, I call it, sucked up into Smokeball. So one of the drivers for me this year in looking at a new practice management system for the firm has been the email overwhelm that I'm experiencing these days. I receive 300 or so emails a day and have tried all sorts of different ways to manage that. And so one of the tools that I really appreciate within Smokeball is the ability for emails, I describe it in a very technical term, being sucked up by the technology and immediately placed on files. And you know, with COVID this year, and we were a very paper heavy firm, it has been a real joy to be able to start to really change some of our processes, knowing that that information is automatically being stored on client files. It's easy to search and find things thereafter. So yeah, that's certainly the main thing at the moment that I'm finding really helpful. Again, I don't know that I'd say to you there's like one thing that is the most obvious thing, but what I did like about Smokeball as a technology product for my business was I felt that it covered off on the majority of the things that I was looking for with the practice management software. So every software product that I've looked at has different strengths. And for me, it was trying to work out what are the key things that our business needs and which of the technology providers can offer those things and more. And what I felt with Smokeball is it ticked all of the boxes for what I was trying to achieve in our practice. You know, one tool that could get all of these different products that we'd been using into one place. But then the more I learned about, and I still don't know, as I just said to you before we started recording, I still don't know the extent of what's available in Smokeball. The more I'm sort of learning, I'm like, oh, it does that as well, it does this as well. So what I really enjoyed is that it ticked the boxes for what I needed, but there's lots of helpful things that are in addition to that. I've also really appreciated the ability to work with your team and email in and say, look, can it do this, or would you consider doing something to enable it to do this? And I've always received really helpful responses, either yes, it does, or it doesn't at the moment, but let us look into that and see if we can add that on. And I think that's a really helpful thing for those of us in business when you're working with a provider that's willing to go, okay, well, how can we continue to innovate and adapt our product to meet the needs of our market? Had a practice management system that I've had in here since I began 12 years ago, and it was on one level a fine system, but because of the way I run my practice, we are a fully fixed fee firm. We have no time recording. I don't use precedents in the way that, you know, I'm not a conveyancing firm, or I'm not a firm where there's sort of lots of standard things that happen. So many of the reasons that other software providers might say, these are the selling features of our products, we've got all these automated templates and, you know, we're amazing with time recording and all of these things, they're not attractive to the type of business that I run. And what I was really looking for was probably more a combination of a practice management system that absolutely streamlined and automated, but enabled me to do that in a very customized way that suited the type of practice that we ran, but that also had elements of marketing and the business side of running a business built in it. And so for me, it was the mix of those two things that I ultimately found really attractive in how Smokeball is set up. Some of the tools in terms of profitability, you know, data for me as a business owner around how my business is operating, I think are really savvy. And that was certainly part of the decision for me around why this product over some of the others that are available. I sat on the decision to invest in a new practice management system for about 5 years. So what that tells me is the pain points probably weren't that bad, in the sense that largely, obviously, we could continue to operate, or I would have made the decision earlier. The thing that tweaked it for me was the COVID shift, moving our team remote. We very quickly, in the space of a week, we ran a server here and our practice management system was on the server. So whilst people could have remote access, it was very clunky, it was really difficult. So we quickly implemented some cheap, easy tools that solved the problem. But it was that really made me go, it's time to invest in something that solves this problem. Like, we don't need to keep working with a bit of this and a bit of that and using Dropbox and whatever it might be. So that was certainly the moment for me that was let's do this. Coupled with, as I said earlier, email. I think email has been the driver of most of my pain for quite some time, and trying to find a way to manage just the volume that comes in and not lose things, and know that they're being stored in a way that you can find them later. That was absolutely one of the things that I was looking for with the systems that I looked at. Definitely recommend Smokeball to colleagues. Again, like any tech product, like any product that any of us are looking at investing in, you need to come back to a question of, what do I need in my business? What are the problems that I'm trying to solve? What do I need my practice management software to do? Because not every product is going to be right for every firm, but certainly I would recommend to people that they absolutely have a look at the Smokeball product. I think it does a lot of cool things, and it's worth exploring. And the best way to do that, I found, I ended up looking at 3 different systems, and it was really helpful to just look at different systems and be able to, I guess, almost cross-reference and go, okay, well, that one does this and this one does that and this one does it this way. Even just the way systems are set up, so that some of them are more intuitive than others. And that was something I liked when I looked at Smokeball. I felt like it was intuitive to me. Now, that may not be intuitive to someone else, but I liked that I could easily understand where things were. It wasn't difficult for me to find things, and I didn't have to sit through 20 hours of training to be able to achieve that. So like anything, you need to have a look for yourself, but I've certainly really enjoyed the process of moving that system into our practice. Yes, because it's a cloud-based system, it means that people can log in from anywhere. The capacity for it to be downloaded as an app on a phone or on an iPad or whatever it is, like, there's lots of different ways that your team can connect into this product. And having all of your client stuff in one place is really powerful. We were, as I said, a mix between an old practice management system running a office-based server with documents a bit here and a bit there. And when COVID came around, we quickly moved everything across to Dropbox, which has advantages and disadvantages as well. But, you know, you've got one product for this and then this product over here, and then I was running Xero for the accounts in here. So just too many things. And it's nice to have one thing that talks to everything else. And I think that's made a big difference for us. I would definitely say that. Like, I already feel like I'm more efficient. I feel like things are here, I can find them easily, I know where they're going. I'm enjoying sort of experimenting with different structures within Smokeball in terms of how it enables us to run files in stages. We're starting to use a lot of the automation tools within Smokeball to just look at, again, efficiencies within the practice. So I think it's the right sort of product for the sort of business that I'm running, which is a pretty contemporary law firm. And it's nice to be able to just keep working with the product to get a better feel for what it does and implement it. I would say we're still only at a 70% implementation. So we still haven't moved the entire firm across to that product. And that's been a decision of mine as well. I didn't want to just go, let's go. I wanted to do it in a careful way. So that process, though, has been great. And working, I found it really helpful working with the Smokeball team over that. It wasn't a case of, there you go, you've paid your money, best of luck, see you later. I found that the Smokeball team has been really helpful, both in training us, but then helping us going, oh, by the way, you could try this. Did you know? We've looked into this. And so that's helpful, because it's really hard to learn everything you can in the space of, you know, a 2-hour training session. And the fact that you've got the capacity to keep checking in and learning more, I found really helpful. I think one of the pieces of feedback that I got from my team when they went through, separate to me, the demonstration of the product, was that a number of senior members of the Smokeball team were a part of that demonstration. And my team felt that there was a real respect in just having a number of people involved in that demonstration, and the ability, because of the different roles of the people involved in the demonstration, to answer the different questions that were coming from, you know, my financial controller right down to my legal team. And then we have a business manager in here that's involved in a lot of product development. So there were a lot of questions, as I understand it, being thrown at your team by my team. And my team got a lot of confidence from the capacity to have different members of the Smokeball group there with different knowledge, and felt like all of their questions were answered. But for them also, it was a sense of respect. And it wasn't a sense of, oh, Clarissa's the boss and they've given her the amazing treatment. and we, the team, get something slightly different. There was something very important in that for them. The other thing I'd say is, I think I mentioned this just before, but after implementation, I have really appreciated the constant contact that we've had in a helpful way, not in a harassing way, in a helpful way of, did you know, can we help you with this? What about this? What about that? And look, maybe all software providers are doing that these days. I don't know. But the product that I've had for the last 12 years, I think I've heard from those people twice. So this has been a different thing for us in being able to constantly go back and forth and just ask and learn. I've found really great. And so for me, that is a sign of a company that understands their customer and understands the problems that we have as practice owners and solicitors particularly.